Well, let's talk to Miss Amelia Frahm. Is that correct?
Frahm.
Frahm. I knew I'd say that wrong. But how are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. We're talking about this book, Nuclear Power, and you're an author. This is not your first book.
No, it's not.
Tell me a little bit about nuclear power. Why did you want to talk about nuclear power?
Well, years ago I worked at a nuclear power plant, and I no longer do that today. I'm a children's book writer, and I discovered there were no children's picture books about nuclear power. I used to do a school program, and so I started investigating and decided I would do a book about it. And to be honest, I'd almost given up on this book because it's hard to imagine now since what happened with the Fukushima nuclear accident, but when I was researching, there wasn't a lot of interest in the book. And
it was like pulling teeth to get people to take this.
Frankly, nobody can believe this now, but we've had such a wonderful safety record in the United States. So when I first started doing the book, nobody was really that interested. And then we had the Fukushima nuclear accident occurred due to the natural disaster. And I was in the process of doing that book. I mean, I had talked to the illustrator. I'd almost decided against doing the book. I told my husband, you know, there's just not a lot of interest. Maybe I'll just sit on it and pay off the illustrator. There's no point in doing the book. And then when the accident occurred, I thought, there's my sign. There's my sign. I need to do this book. And
you did. And this is a book that children, since there's so many nuclear plants here in Alabama, I guess, or in this area, this was good to teach the kids without them being just scared to death about nuclear plants.
That's exactly right. It goes through the story and it tells how a nuclear power plant works, and it's kind of funny in the story. There's a little rat and a bird, and they're arguing over something they really agree about, which is how the nuclear plant works. And what they have decided is that they're blaming it on the cat. And we always want to blame things we don't understand on somebody or something.
Somebody else's fault.
You know, art imitates life here. But they're blaming it on a cat, and they think it's her design because the rat has lost its tail and the bird has lost some feathers. And they think the cat is the reason they designed the nuclear power plant, and they think she wants to use the electricity from it to cook them for dinner. So that's the premise of the book. And along the way you discover how a nuclear power plant really works.
I want to also talk about your other book too that you said that you did years ago. It was about cancer.
Yes, it's called Tickles Tabitha's Cancer Tankerous Mommy. And I was 34 years old when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and my children were they were 2 and 4 years old. And at that time, and this was in 1994, people just did not talk about cancer to young children. And I could not find a book in the library. I mean, I'd found a book about sibling rivalry and everything else, and I was looking for a book to explain my cancer and what I was going through to my daughter, and I couldn't find it, so I ended up writing it. I did, and I sent it out to all these publishers. I thought, well, this is a good idea. And they sent it back and they said, you know, this is a good idea. Sadly, the story needs to be told, but there's just not a lot of young women with cancer out there. It's a niche topic, and we just don't think it'll work. And it took probably about 5 years later. I had a very good friend. My best friend died of cancer, and she was another young mother. And that just motivated me to get off my butt and do it myself. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you did it. And now it's like, I mean, who do you know that doesn't know someone with cancer?
Well, our perception has really changed, and I think what happens, we have the internet today, and we didn't back then. And I really felt so alone and isolated, like I was the only young mom, and that's not the case at all.
And there's so many people now going through it. So, and I mean, it does touch home. My mother's going through it right now. But so where can people find your books? What's the easiest way? Amazon.com?
Amazon.com. They can go to my website. It's nutcrackerpublishing.com. They can go to the bookstore, Barnes & Noble. Go to the bookstore there at Bridge Street. They should have it on file if they don't have it in stock.
Shopping at Bridge Street,
don't we?
That's a good place to go. But nuclear power, and it is good just to teach the children. And I imagine some adults would probably enjoy this book as well if they don't fully understand about the nuclear
that's one thing I discovered back in the day I worked there, is that adults would bring their kids in to learn themselves.
We trick them that way, don't we?
Exactly.
Well, Amelia, thank you for... Now, you don't live here.
Well, I'm a commuter. Me and my husband, we can't say we live per se, but we're a commuter marriage. My husband works in Decatur at the 3M plant. He's been a contractor there for 6 years now. We've been commuting for 6 years.
Well, great.
So,
well, we picked up some new viewers then.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, good. We'll tell your husband that, and thank you both for watching, and that's actually how she knew to come on the show to talk about her book. But nuclear power, it's really really cute, you want to teach the kids, or even for yourself. Good little stocking stuffers, too, for gifts. All right, Amelia, thanks for being with us this morning. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Mayor Marks is with us, and of course, we're actually going to go to some car show video right now. We were on the square this Saturday, and what a beautiful day for that. It just turned out absolutely wonderful. We'll be back right after this.